Well, let's see here. Turn the banner on. And flip it. September 30, 9 o'clock hangout. I'll stay on for a half an hour. Nobody shows up, we'll go on. This hangout is entirely, for everybody to get together. It's not really an instructional video. So you want to be notified of my hangouts, add me to your Google circle, and what happens there is that when I post a hangout, it'll show up. So I'm tinkering with this Continental. I put some superfill on it. It's not ready to sand yet, so can't sand them. Somebody coming in. Who we got there? You gotta turn your mic on, turn your cam on. Let's see who we got.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, sure can.
Hey, yes. Jared from Omaha.
Hey, I guess you don't have a camera.
I'm trying to get it to work.
Okay, go up to the top. You'll take your mouse arrow and put it up to the top.
Goes.
There you are.
There we go.
Yeah, there we go. Anyway, I'm glad you came on, because these hangouts, if nobody shows up, I just go on.
I hear you. Yeah, I've been watching a few of your other videos. Starting to watch your suspended bell crank one.
Yeah, I need to remake that in my new format, I guess. You like the new format better?
I don't know what your new format is. I've just watched about 3 of them so far is all.
Well, like the suspended bell crank, I really don't explain it. And the new ones are done in a voiceover thing where I'm doing a close-up and explaining things. Like if you watch the blade hinges,
yeah,
or the lead-out wrap.
The hinge one was really neat.
Yeah, that's the new style.
And that's the hinges that are on that stab right there, right?
Correct.
Okay.
And what'll go into this flap here.
Now, is that a kit that you buy that has those parts already made, or do you actually cut them out, or?
I cut them out.
Okay.
Actually, I had a guy. There's a guy on the forum. He has a pin router. Okay. When I first did these, I had what's the guy's name who cuts the kits?
Eric Rule?
Eric Rule, yeah. I described to Eric what I wanted. He cut them for me on his laser cutter. And he cut me a bag of hinges like this. And it cost about the same, but he could only cut 3-ply light ply with a laser. And I really wanted them aircraft ply, 5-ply.
Right.
So there's a guy on the forum who does pin routing. These are done on a router table. And he cut me when the bag was completely full. But I think they were about $28 for a whole shit pile of them.
Oh, that's not bad.
So I got enough hinges to last another 10 airplanes anyway.
Yeah.
So he's down in the vendor's corner, and I can't remember what the name of it is, but Then you got to find your brass eyelets and your piano wire and that stuff. Everybody asks, where do you get it? I don't know. I just go on Google and search.
Right.
But the hinges are real easy to figure out. If you're going to do 3/8 flaps, you need a 3/8 inch round part and a 1/8 inch square tang sticking off 1 inch to 3/4 of an inch. If you're doing 1/2 inch flaps, you need a 1/2 inch hole. And you set the hinge line half the thickness of the flap or the elevator back into the flap, and that way the leading edge will rotate right on the trailing edge of the stabilizer or trailing edge of the wing.
Right. Now, how did you do the groove into the stab then with that, with your little Dremel router?
Yeah, I showed how I cut these pieces. It's the same thing. I got a Dremel router.
Yeah, not the fillets, but like the concave part of the stab.
Same way.
Same way. Okay.
Same way I did the fillets. I think I showed that in the hinging, didn't I? Maybe not.
I think it was already done.
Yeah, I used my Dremel router table, and I just route down the whole length of the thing, and then take a 3/8 dowel with some sandpaper on it. And, sand down the end and make it perfect.
Gotcha.
There you go. And you can't beat them hinges. There are no freer hinges than this.
Well, and plus you don't have a hinge line gap either.
Well, you don't, right? Everybody thought I was, talking nonsense when I was thinking about this. Been only been thinking about this 20 years.
Right. No, I like that. Yeah, that's nice.
I wish this stab was a little lighter. I got somebody else coming on. We got Chris.
Yep.
Hey, Chris.
How you doing?
Good.
Is that Jared?
Sure is.
I'm back on making stabs, Chris.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I made two of these, and this is what I'm going to stay with. This one here, it's a little heavy, but whatever. What did yours end up weighing?
Go ahead.
What did yours end up weighing?
2 1/4.
Yeah, 3/4 of an ounce heavier, but there is dope on this and tissue on the stabilizer.
Oh, mine has that too. I have 3 coats of dope and silk span. Want to hear the best part about it though? I'm building a box for my airplane, and I had to pull my table saw in here, so I pushed my rolling table out into the driveway. And when I pulled it back in, and the next day I drove away to go fly, and I ran over something. I ran over the stab. It blew off the table. When I had the garage door open and went underneath the truck.
No, my stab is 3 1/4, so it's an ounce heavier than yours.
Well, mine's dead.
Yeah. Well, what can I say? But I ain't making no more of these for this airplane. I made 4 for the other one. I got all my ribs cut out. I got the fuselage sides laminated together. You already seen this airplane finished, right?
Yeah, that's the one you had in St. Louis, right, at the contest?
Right. I was talking to Chris, see if he saw
Yeah,
it.
I watched all the videos of it flying and everything.
I don't fly it well, but it does fly good.
Good. That's what I like to hear.
I mean, it'll be killer for next season. That's why I got to get another one made.
Yeah.
I just got my, remember that extension I sent you?
Yeah.
I just had Jim Lee make me another one with this motor here. So I got another Tiger 60 here, and I'll put it on, but I had to make this tang a little longer so it would go down into the extension a little farther.
Oh, okay.
But what was happening is, I don't think he accounted for the thickness of the back plate of the spinner. So, you know, there wasn't much sticking through the prop after you got it all together. This should be fine.
Yeah, I can't stay on long because I don't think I'm going to be able to get internet back out here in the garage. So I'm running off my phone for a little bit.
Why can't you get internet out in the garage?
Because I got to run about 150 feet of Ethernet cable.
That ain't no big deal.
Well, I just don't have any. And I spend too much money on airplanes.
Well, you got the tool to put the end on it?
Yeah,
So how much could an Ethernet cable cost?
I don't know, probably nothing. I probably just am being lazy.
That's exactly what it sounds like to me, because I know it doesn't cost much. I should have this one done in about another week or so. I got tissue on the fuselage and cleared out, and I got to put the cap down.
Continental? Is that a Continental?
Yeah. One I'm building for Jerry. I'm going to Dayton to work for him for a while. As soon as I get this finished, I'll go to Dayton so I can pay my property tax.
What's in Dayton?
His truck manufacturing place.
Okay.
There we go. Switch angles here.
I like what you did. Missouri trophy there, plaque.
Yeah, you remember them giving that to me?
Yep.
Yeah, I wanted to put that Thunderbolt. That was my favorite airplane. I couldn't figure out what to do with it.
Is that the same Thunderbolt I see like the nose of and the logo of your stunt hanger thing on this?
Yeah, that's what it was.
It crashed then, or?
I lost it down in Memphis about 3 years ago.
Oh, really?
Yeah. John Simpson was a half a point ahead of me. That's back when I was flying good, and I couldn't let that stand. And the temperature had changed, and I opened the needle valve up, and I think I had a 8-ounce tank in it, and that PA-75 just drank fuel like crazy, and it quit on the uphill side of the hourglass, and when it quit, it just went over the top, and that was it.
Wow. Jim Lee had that happen at our Omaha contest years ago when he was flying his blue and red Sunflyer.
Uh-huh.
It might have been the overhead 8, and as soon as he pulled up, it just quit, and it went right over the top. It got to the top of the circle, stalled, and then just lawn darted from there. And it came right down in the middle of the circle, and then our circle is a paved ring around grass in the middle. And luckily for him, it had rained like 3 days solid before our contest. And so when you would walk on the ground, it was just like spongy. And that Sunflyer came straight in like a lawn dart, went right into the ground, and it buried itself right up to the leading edge of the wings and just stuck. Just perfect, nose in right into the ground. Goes over there, pulls it out of the ground. The only thing that's broke on it's a prop.
Hey, Chris, what wing is that? Is that a new one?
Yeah, it's the Junar wing I've been building.
What bell crank are you going to use?
One of Tom's old ones.
One of those phenolic ones.
Yeah.
Well, I got all my wood for my wing now.
Now, is that a different bell crank, Chris, than the ones you had some issues with?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. This is a good old-fashioned phenolic brick.
Okay.
I got a couple oldies but moldies. This one here is a windy. This one here is a windy, but carbon fiber, but it's heavy. Quarter-inch thick. I got a carbon fiber bell crank. Let me see if I can get it over here real quick.
I forgot I even had one.
I can't get it out. Can't get it out now. I think I did the suspended bell crank video with this bell crank I'm going to use in my next one. Come on. There we go. I like these bell cranks. I'm going to get some more of them.
Which ones are those?
The ones that weigh absolutely nothing. This one right here. Carbon fiber. It weighs. Grams. It weighs 7 grams.
Where do you get those from?
Steve Wilk on the forum.
Steve Wilk?
Yep. Now Traxler was supposed to make some. Whatever, did he make some, Chris, or not?
Yeah, he did. They're pretty good. I just I don't have any of them here.
Larry Fruits has joined the chat.
What? How big is that bell crank? What's the length of it?
4 inch.
4 inch.
Larry, if you can hear me, go up to the top, take your mouse, the arrow, go up to the top. There'll be a gear up there. It'll say settings. Click on that, choose camera and microphone, and select your equipment. Rusty's on. Larry. Hey, Rusty.
How you doing tonight, Sparky?
Good.
So who we got? Chris Rudd. I've heard of Chris, but never met him. I think some of my friends know you. My name's Rusty Knowlton. How you doing, Chris?
How you doing tonight, Rusty?
Pretty good. I probably should be out in the shop taking care of some things, but I just can't get it tonight, so we're just gonna chill.
We got Larry Fruits on, but I think he's having a hard time with his microphone and camera.
Well, hi, Larry, if you can hear us.
And Jared Hayes.
Yeah, I see his avatar, but I don't see any picture. Sparky.
I'm working on Continental for the other guy.
Yeah. Last time I saw it was the night you were putting the polyspan on, and that was entertaining and helpful. So I'm going to look into that next time.
Since I did the lead out, thing this afternoon that posted a lead out video. Since then I've added the bottom block on this, the tail wheel, bent the tail wheel up.
Now that looks good. I saw your video on jigging it up on the glass, so that was good. I enjoyed that.
Put the fillets in the, it's not a Continental without all these fillets, so.
Little whoops and curves. Yeah, that's pretty.
And then these great big fillets on the leading edge will get done. I got paid pretty good to do this one, so I got to do a good job.
Yeah. Well, so far it looks really nice.
Well, we'll see what happens. Larry, take your mouse pointer, go to the top, put it up at the top, select the gear. It'll pop down. It'll have a person, a microphone, and a camera. Make sure that the camera is turned on and the microphone is turned on. And if that doesn't work, go to the settings gear and select your camera. So you can switch back and forth between. Yeah, I'm going to get another couple cameras in here as soon as I can get some more money. Yeah, he just signed out.
You scared him off.
So what are you building, Jared?
What's that?
What are you building?
I'm actually working on a radio control MiG-21. Just doing a little bit of, I like to add 3M scratch film to all like the leading edges and all the places that you touch it, just to help give it a little extra durability. So that's all I'm working on. Nothing too crazy.
Is that monocoat?
No, it's actually foam. I'll turn the, give me a second, I'll turn the camera to the plane, see it? You can see it there.
Oh yeah, that's pretty. I like that.
What's it made out of?
It's all EPO foam. That's
Styrofoam.
just a, yep, styrofoam. It's amazing what they can do with that stuff nowadays.
With a ducted fan.
Yeah, 80 millimeter EDF fan in it. And then I take this, it's 3M mono scratch guard film. It's just clear after you get the backing off it. And I put that on all the leading edges and all the places you touch, you know, the canopy, battery hatch. It just makes it last so much longer.
Uh-huh. Hey, Daryl, welcome.
How you doing?
Hey, Daryl.
How's everybody tonight?
Yeah, pretty good.
All's good down south.
Sitting around bullshit.
What's that?
We're just sitting around bullshit, and that's what this is for. I mean, wasn't really when I do these hangouts, it really isn't an instructional type video. It's hanging out, and that's what we got going. We got 5 on now. I had another guy. He left.
I got in Wednesday right as you signed out. I just barely missed you.
I was working Wednesday, so.
It was Monday.
Yeah, I can't stay on and talk for an hour by myself.
Looked like you had a few watchers, but your watch was on YouTube.
I was watching, but I was on my cell phone, so I had no way of, I couldn't figure out how to participate.
We got 10 people on here now. We got 7 watchers now and 5 participants, so that's pretty good.
Yeah, watched your hinging video there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, people say they like them voiceover videos I've been doing. But the problem with doing a voiceover video is ever how long it takes me to do the job, then I got to edit the video ever how long that takes. Then I got to do it again and do the voiceover. So it takes 3 times as long to make a video. So if it's an hour video, it takes 3 hours to edit it up.
Yeah, there's a considerable amount of time that goes into video editing.
Yeah, you don't realize it until, you know, you actually pay attention to when you start, and then when you look at when you're finished, you don't realize just how much time it does take.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that I'm a pro editor or nothing. That's Chris Rudd's job.
Yeah, edit is your friend in a lot of cases. You can take a 35-minute video and turn it into 10 minutes pretty quick.
Oh, easy. I guess Chris dropped off because he has no internet in the garage. He's using his phone.
Yeah, I was using that night we were talking about bikes when I was working on the Triumph there. She was sketchy on the internet there. The Wi-Fi was reaching from the house. My garage is detached.
A guy came over the other day and I sold him a set of injectors. I got an ECM I'm going to put on eBay, I guess, for a twin cam. 2000 twin cam. I didn't realize I had all that shit in the garage.
It's amazing what you dig up when you start rummaging around looking for something. Eh?
Well, he asked me for a Screaming Eagle race tuner, so I went out to the toolbox, got down to the bottom, and I got a race tuner for Delphi, which is late model, but I don't have one for Magneti Morelli. But I did have an ECM, an extra one for my old bike. So I went online and looked, and that's a $500 part. So I'm going to sell it.
Yeah, they don't give that shit away anymore, do they?
Did you see the shirts? Let me turn the other camera on. I sent them out. I finished sending them today. They're the in memory. The stunt hanger on top says in memory of Don Schultz, and it's got that. The only reason why I did this particular shirt in memory shirt is because Don Schultz is the guy who drew this airplane originally for Al Rave. So I spent about 100 hours digitizing it so I could make a T-shirt out of it. So I figured we'd do a in-memory shirt for Don.
Is he the one that? Is he the one that's done all of the airplane pictures? Somebody posted a real artist. Maybe it was Don, and just lots and lots of different pictures of airplanes. And wonder if that's him that I remember that post from.
Well, we got a couple guys that are pretty good. Mike Cavell, he does oil paintings. He lives in Tucson.
Yeah, I would have remembered that, but no, it wasn't him. I bet it was Don.
And this airplane here was done. That is a picture of a Bearcat, Al Rave Bearcat. And so Don used to work for Boeing, and he did all their artwork for Boeing, and he was really good. And all he had was a crappy little black and white picture, about 2 inches tall. And I took that black and white picture, scanned it, and digitized it so I could make a silk screen out of it. It took a lot of work to get it done.
Next time you come out with or if you ever come out with a pocket tee, I'll pick one of those up. Last one I bought was the blue one not too long ago, last year.
Yeah, but no
Oh,
pocket.
no pocket tee? Oh, okay.
These are pocket. All I sell is pocket tees.
Oh, well, I got a blue one not too long ago that does not have a pocket.
Right. There was a run of no pocket where they screwed up, and instead of making them print, they even screwed this up. But I'm not going to tell you what. I guess I'm too much a perfectionist. I said, well, I won't make you reprint them.
Okay, I'll keep my eye out then. I prefer pockets on my t-shirts.
I normally, that's all I sell is normally is pocket tees.
So
I got too many
free
pockets. I
T-shirt.
got pockets on my.
What's that, Daryl?
Get a free T-shirt if you figure it out.
No.
Some people tell me I got too many pockets. I got pockets on my tees, pockets on my outside shirt, got cargo pants on. You know, with cargo pants, when you go flying, you need your chicken stick and a couple of igniters and your cross wrench, and who knows? You just got to remember which pockets you put them all in. So,
Well, it will always be in the last pocket that you check.
Yeah.
well, I try to develop a habit for when I'm in a contest, you know, and if I need to whip something out real quick. But hopefully, if I'm prepared, I don't have to get anything but my igniter and my stick.
I might take this bell crank here up to the machine shop and put it on an end mill and take half of the thickness off of it.
Is that a Brodak?
No, this is carbon fiber. It's Windy Ertnowski.
Geez, it can't be very heavy. It's carbon fiber, even at that.
It feels real heavy. I got this one here is 7 grams. This one here is 18 grams. The phenolic is 12 grams. So yeah, this is the heaviest one of the bunch.
That's surprising. Maybe it has to do with the type of epoxy he made it with. I don't know much about making carbon fiber material parts.
It has to do with how thick it is. It's
That
3/16 of an inch thick. Yeah.
Yeah.
That looks like I thought it was a nylon one at first. It was so bloody thick there.
This one here, made by Steve Wilk, is 7 grams, and it's about 3/32 thick, and it's strong. I mean, you can't break this. Of course, I have another bell crank system I'm probably going to try too, but I was going to try to lighten it up. It's kind of heavy. I wish I'd have thought of this, because this is revolutionary in the bell crank area.
Oh, you did a video with that, didn't you?
Yeah. This is a Brett Buck style bell crank with the push rod that comes out the top of the wing. Kind of cool, but it's heavy.
It does look heavy, yeah.
Just this here weighs 32 grams. I don't think this center post has to be that thick.
It looks like a part for my Jeep.
This horn, he made a real tall horn on it, but I never seen a horn like this. It's 12 grams. We're a Morris horn. Let's see here. I got lots of shit here. The Morris horn is actually heavier. 18. It's bigger.
It sounds like you might be on eBay for a while.
I've
No.
never sold it on eBay. I've bought plenty, never sold any.
I've never sold anything on it either. And half my collector's kits I got on eBay. Not anymore. It costs too damn much to ship stuff.
I shipped a shirt, a T-shirt to Canada, $15.50. I shipped a shirt to Australia, $13.25. I said to the lady at the post office, I said, "Are you guys gonna walk this over there or what?"
Yeah.
$15. God, they were proud of that.
Yeah, they doubled the shipping to Canada a couple of years ago for some reason.
Yeah, but maybe from your end coming here.
Oh,
But it-
your end coming here. It was USPS that jacked it up.
Man, $15. That's more than half the cost of the shirt.
Yeah, it's a little ridiculous. Yeah.
Hey, Daryl. Hey, Daryl, you like my little Satan flight the other night?
Yeah.
That's pretty good. We had a great time. I love half a day. I always forget how much fun I have flying those things. That's the first time I've ever gotten a standing ovation after a flight. Because I ran it over and put it in the grass. And Don Jenkins asked me, "Well, don't you have trouble with your monocoat getting scuffed up?" And I said, "Well, I don't." I don't have that problem, and didn't think about it again until I ran out of gas over the circle. So I heard it going, so I ran over there and dropped it right in a nice tuft of grass at the edge of the pavement.
Have you seen Dan Bandrock's micro airplane?
Yes, I have. I saw him take off. I think it was from a Brodak picture, off of the wing of a big ringmaster. Used the wing for a runway, right? Put the little teeny one on it.
I flew one of his airplanes, and it was little tiny. It had a 10 on it.
Right, that's
Like
the
a
same one.
Yeah. Yeah.
I've got a kit for one that I want to build because on my other forums we've got a traveling TD-010 going around the world, and when it comes through me, I want to be sure and have something to fly for it. And so, you know, you do whatever you want, play with it, fly it, and then video it and send it on to the next person on the list. In a couple of years, it'll come back home. But I got one of those teeny little ones, and like Danny had, and I've got a 010 Stunter, which has actually got an 18-inch wing on it. So it's, you know, really light, but that ought to be fun. But that means I'm going to have to find an 010 because I don't own one of my own.
eBay.
So, yeah, I know, but money, you know, those things are expensive.
They go for over $200 sometimes.
Yeah, I'm not spending that much. Somebody's going to have to either give me one or lend me one or something.
Hey, I got the newsletter from you. How come you don't have a stunt hanger link on there?
I do. There's a page that says vendors. It's one of the last pages where I've got links and vendors, and you have even a logo where most people don't.
Huh.
It says Stunt Hanger Hobby. You know what, though? It's not for the forums. It's for the hobby shop.
Right.
I'll put one up for the forum, too. If it's not already, I might I'll double check. Those are all left over since Howard used to do the newsletter, and I hadn't changed a lot, but I'll make sure you get one up there on the forums page.
Yeah, I mean, the hobby shop is important. I don't make nothing on the hobby shop, but the forum, I don't make nothing on the forum either, but the forum is kind of important so we can, you know, get everybody involved.
I'll do that. I'll check the next time. But yeah, I have fun doing that newsletter. It takes me about 12 hours to do a decent copy of it, but I'm always glad I did it once I'm finished. Do it once a month.
I'm
Right?
not getting rich at this forum business.
What's that for, Rusty?
This is the newsletter for my Metrolina Control Line Society, MCLS, and we've put people on the list that come to contests and other people who want to be on it. So I got about 220 or so recipients. And when I started doing it with the attachment, maybe it was the size of it, but I started getting nailed or flagged as a spammer by a lot of my recipients. So I had to start sending it now through a Dropbox link and just let them pick it up from Dropbox. And this past month I tested it out and it seemed to go pretty smoothly. Nobody had trouble getting it, downloading it, reading it. But it's got videos of what we're doing. It's down here in Columbia. I'm always starring in the latest flying activities. You know, me, Wayne, and Bob Zambelli, and just whatever people send to me. And I get a lot of stuff from the Norfolk Aero Modelers. I need to get some of their flying expeditions in. John Tate's good about mailing out to everybody. But it's a pretty good little newsletter. If you want to take a look at it, I'll send you the link to it next month, or for the last month. I got the whole archives on Dropbox now, so you can go in and see any month since I've been doing it, which is a little over a year now.
Okay.
You use Microsoft Publisher, and it's pretty easy to, arrange things a lot easier than it is in Word, where the format changes without you intending it to. And Microsoft Publisher, I can lay it out pretty neatly. Now that I'm getting the hang of it, I can knock a few hours off of the production, but getting started, learning how to format everything took a while.
This has been a pretty fun feature here, this hangout.
Yeah, it is. I enjoyed it. That first night I ever came on, and I was the only guest, so I got to hog the whole show. We had fun that night, though.
You say you're in the Metrolina Club?
That's right. They're in Huntersville, North Carolina, just outside of. They're on the loop around Charlotte. I live about 90 minutes south of it in Columbia.
I went down to that contest last year.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I can't remember if I met you there or not.
You look familiar. When I first saw you, my first impression was John Onimus. I think that's his name. And another big old guy that comes out there is Jared Hayes, but I think I know him when I saw him.
That's me.
Oh, you're Jared Hayes.
Yeah.
Okay. Excuse me for not recognizing you.
Oh, that's okay.
Has Bill
I
Little
saw a
been
different
coming out?
name. What'd you say, Sparky?
Has Bill Little been coming out?
No, he's been talking about it ever since I joined back in 2012, but I've never met him. He's been ill. He's been having cancer treatment, and we've swapped a lot of emails, and I just came and watched. He'd be glad he did, because, man, when I'm feeling bad and I get around all the, people and friends, I always feel so much better. And
Well, you know how big Jared is, right?
I understand that Bill is more like a bear.
Bill,
big old boy.
Jared looked like a midget. He wears a 6X shirt, and he's huge. And he's not fat. He's a big boy, linebacker.
That's what I hear.
We
got our own giant in Metrolina, but I don't think he's as big as Bill. That's Howardson.
I'll be coming down again to that contest. It's what, in 2 weeks?
Let's see. I think it's on the. I already got the 14th and the 15th and 16th.
Yeah, I'm coming down and bringing my dad with me. And
Great.
He's bringing his stiletto. I'll have my Strega, Nostalgia 30 stiletto, and Profile Cardinal. And then I'm trying to remember, is there a Rich Malik down there?
There is, but he spends so much time with his wife, who's been going through some surgery. It's hard to get him out of the house. He comes up and flies in Columbia with us at Fort Jackson. He joined our Columbia club so we could practice, but he's only been able to get up here a couple of times in the year or so that he's been down here.
Well, he emailed me.
To Huntersville.
And on our way to North Carolina, we're stopping in St. Louis and supposed to be picking up a Cardinal from Dan McEntee.
Yeah, never met Dan.
So I guess he's buying that, and I've got a way to haul it there just barely. So that's the plan.
Well, good. It'll be good to see you again. Yeah, I remember meeting you.
So the
And
only
you flew a
thing,
Strega, right?
yeah, Strega. And the only thing is when we get to St. Louis to pick up that plane, it's going to be about 2 o'clock in the morning
Oh,
because we're leaving Wednesday night after work, and it's a 6-hour trip from Omaha to St. Louis. So it'll be about 2 a.m. by the time we get there.
mhm. If you want to get a copy of the newsletter regularly, just tell one of the guys. It'd be Sonny and Duck when you check in and
Yeah,
register.
I've been getting one.
Oh, have you? Okay.
Yep.
I like that field, even though it's in the dump.
Literally.
It is, yeah.
It is, yeah. It's got those vent pipes coming out that look like PVC cacti, you know, the big old cactus arms that come out of the desert. That's what they remind me of. And they won't let Danny fly his jets anymore.
Oh, it's not because of methane, it's because of noise.
No, I don't think so. It's because of the park regulation on methane. That's all, because there's nobody to hear us anywhere. I mean, we don't make enough noise for
Well,
the closest neighbor to hear
think
us.
about this. If they're worried about a fire, why wouldn't a glow engine start a fire?
I didn't say it made sense. We've all, that's not lost on any of us.
There's a
But
pretty
yeah.
good flame comes out of those jets. You don't get any flame coming out of a glow engine.
But you got to remember, it doesn't take a flame to light methane. It takes a spark.
But it has to be concentrated too, and there's no way in hell it's going to be concentrated enough to light off because of a jet or a fire.
They're going to blow the dump up like a volcano. That's a nice park, though. It's nice.
And the
grass-
Control Line Club and the RC Club have a pretty good relationship too.
The grass there is beautiful.
We're trying to get it fixed up because the trees are encroaching and the pavement's getting cracked and pitted, you know, but I think we're talking about building a new circle. I better not say much about that. I bet Will Davis is one of your listeners that's listening to us talk. We talked to Will about that.
They're supposed to recap our circle. They spent, I think it was $15,000 on the RC guys putting in new asphalt. It's our turn. We need to get our circle capped. Charles Carter.
Hey, hello, Sparky. Hello, everybody.
Hey, Charles.
How you doing, man?
Good.
Doing
How
well.
you doing tonight?
Doing well, thank you.
Not sleepy tonight?
No, I had some coffee here to help me stay awake.
But God, it's only 7 o'clock at your time, isn't it?
Yeah, 7:52, but I was up early this morning. Yeah, so.
Yeah, I got home.
What you guys been talking about?
Nothing. Everything.
Just
No.
rambling.
You know, I've been working on a hatch for the push rod, adjustable push rod.
Uh-huh.
And boy, making a hatch is a pain in the butt.
Nah.
Like
10 minutes.
an access hatch?
Yes.
10 minutes.
Right. What? I'm sorry, I faded out on you. What hatch are you making again?
Making an access hatch so I can adjust my push rod. I have one of those Bill Biles adjustable, it's like a turnbuckle where you can shorten or lengthen your push rod.
Yeah. So you're going through the sheeting on the wing somewhere to get to it, or, I mean,
The fuselage sides.
Underneath the stabilizer.
yeah.
No, actually on the behind the flap on the fuselage. I have an access panel there
You're going to access through the top or through the side?
to the side.
Cut your hole 2 inches long and an inch tall, and a rectangle, make the corners round, and put something, you know, a piece of plywood in behind it, fill the hole, and put a T-nut on it. No big deal.
Well, you know, I've never seen that video. I'd like to see a video on that. Because maybe there's an easier way than I'm doing it.
I don't have a video of that, but it wouldn't take nothing to make one.
Painted or monocoat?
I put one on the tail end of my Oriental ARF, but it was more of a hack job, but it did the trick.
Yeah.
You got to do things nice.
On the ARF, it's easy. Once you've done the hole, you just put a piece of monocoat on her, done.
I put a frame
That's true.
behind the plug. It was,
Well, we're having a pretty busy night tonight. We've had Chris Rudd on. We had Larry Fruits, so that's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 9, 16 people.
Pretty good.
We know all now who doesn't drink anymore.
I got tired of it, honestly. It just didn't make me feel like it was supposed to anymore, so it's kind of gradually gave it up. I can't do the things I want to be able to do when I've got a beer buzz on either, so yeah, I'd rather be straight.
You definitely wouldn't want to try to pull a 5-foot bottom out drinking.
I have a hard enough time doing that when I'm not drinking.
Drill right into the ground.
I'm getting there, but I can't hit them every time by any means.
What's that?
Bottoms.
Oh.
Well,
They're 5-foot bottoms that don't look like a porpoise swimming in the ocean.
I was at 10 foot this year at the contest, but I only had 12 flights for the year.
Yeah. I think if I can get my wrist rotation worked out, that I'll solve some of my problem bouncing at the bottoms of the insides, because I do outsides pretty good. That's actually gotten to be one of my better stunts, is the outside square, and the I seem to do those two stunts as well as any.
You're the guy that flies backwards, right? Rusty, you
Yeah.
fly down is up and up is down?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, I hold the handle backwards.
Yeah.
But I hold it straight out in front of me and rock it back and forth. So this is up, this is down. But as I fly, I kind of rotate. So when I do an inside loop, and then when I straighten back out is when the plane does the porpoising. So I've tried stopping it, trouble. So I need to go up high and just go loop after loop after loop and gradually
You need to hold your
stop
hand
rotating.
up and down, just like this.
Well, I know, but it's been since I was 12 years old. I've been holding it out like this, so a muscle memory might be set this way. I guarantee you I'll work it out.
Yeah, I remember having that conversation with you in North Carolina. Now that you say that.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm surprised how many people notice that. For some reason, outsides come easy to me. It's almost like time slows down, but I think it's because I use more elbow when I'm pulling down rather than, because my wrist doesn't go very far that way. That might be the difference there. So I got two completely different methods for down and for up.
I have as well always flown outside better than insides. I don't know why, but I'm the same way.
I'm good at big.
Are you right-handed?
Go ahead.
Right-handed, Jared.
Yeah, I'm right-handed.
Yeah, when I do my outside loops, that's my better loops. It's better than my upright loops. Yeah, so my outside maneuvers are typically better than my inside maneuvers, and I can't figure it out either.
I wonder, people ask me if it's my plane's trim, but no, I do it on every single plane I fly, same thing. So it looks like there's more common thing, I guess. We got 3 people here, out of everybody, that comes to stunt hanger talking about doing the same thing. Better outsides than insides.
Not
What
me.
about you, Sparky? Do you do one better than the other?
No. This year I did everything equally bad.
Yeah, I was kind of waiting for that.
You haven't watched any of my videos, and that make you feel real good.
You do some loops, don't you?
Who, me?
Yeah.
I've been trying outsides, but I keep leaving trenches in the ground.
Are you starting from inverted, or are you starting from way up high and then pulling down?
I'm going up high. I can usually get one or two off, and then the third one, you'll hear a thump.
You got so much more energy starting from up high than
Yeah.
you do down low.
I'm trying to keep the distance between the airplane and the ground at a max. You got some angry gophers at our field when I'm out there.
I hope you come back next year, Jared.
To St. Louis?
Yeah.
Yeah, I probably will. I was thoroughly impressed with your guys' flying site there. That was nice. And past 2 or 3 years, I've been going out to Denver for their contest. But they lost their flying site, and so I kind of didn't have anything to do. And I spotted your guys' contest on Stunt Hanger, and I'm like, perfect. I'll head to there.
If you got balls, you can come to my birthday contest in February.
Oh,
Isolated.
The temperature don't scare me none. We've flown in snow before. I put pictures up on Stunt Hanger where we had to actually shovel, a fourth of our circle off, being 3-4 inches deep of snow just to go fly. Because my dad said, "Hey, let's go flying today." I'm like, "Okay, let me grab a shovel." So,
Skis are easy.
Flyers put a lot of snow flying pictures up on YouTube and skis on their planes. Man, you got to be tough. My skin's not thick enough for that kind of flying.
what cracks me up is we got several RC clubs here, and they swear up and down that a glow motor will not run under 40 degrees.
Oh,
And
yeah.
I'm like, here, let me show you. Get out the old Tiger 60, put a drop of fuel in it, fires right up every time.
Lighter fluid.
Yeah.
The two-strokes, I never had trouble starting them below freezing. Like, your 32 is there 0. So everything's
On the
measured.
little half-A's, we used to have to wrap yarn around the cylinder heads in between the fins, and that would help keep them warm enough. But those little engines would have a problem in really cold weather. And that's more from me than experience, because it doesn't get that cold here in Columbia very often. Am I going to fly when it's that cold in Columbia?
So right now it's probably that cold in Columbia here.
I think it's probably about 76, 78 out there right now.
Oh,
We've got our contest on Sunday, and it's supposed to be like low 70s, so should be absolutely perfect.
Huntersville comes on about the first cool weekend, and you'll see people on Saturday in profile dropping like flies running out of gas too soon because hot weather, and then all of a sudden it's 20 degrees cooler and they're not putting a big enough fuel load in.
Well, that's exactly what happened to me on Sunday flying my Strega. I've got a 7-ounce tank, and I need every last drop of it to get through the pattern. And I was running my 13.7 APC prop, and I had to open the needle valve a full turn to get it to the RPM I needed to run on Sunday. From Saturday when I did my test flights on Saturday. But when we got to the field Sunday morning, there was frost on the ground, and I knew right then I was in trouble. And yeah, sure enough, I had to open it up a full turn, and I ran out on both flights. The first flight I ran out in the overhead 8, and then the second flight I ran out in the 4-leaf clover. So I've been more experimenting with props where I can lean the motor out and get a longer engine run, but keep my airspeed about the same. So that's my plan for this year.
What prop are you using on a Super Tiger 60?
Several different ones. Right now, I'm using a 13.7 APC, and then if it's dead calm air, I run a 13.6 APC, and if it's really windy and I'm fighting the wind, then I run a 14.6 Zinger.
This is the only prop that works. Right here.
Yeah, you showed me that. I don't have any to try.
This is the shit right here.
Yeah, my dad's got a stiletto that he scratch built about 28, 30 years ago, 770 square inches, and he's ran a 14.6 Zinger on that forever. And it's just like the Hamilton Standard on a P51. It just works wonders. We've tried different props on it, but we keep going back to that 14.6 Zinger. And I tried that on my Strega, but you can tell it's kind of like a gyroscopic effect when you try to make a hard corner. You can tell it's not wanting to turn as hard. And as soon as I drop it to a 13.7 APC, it really snaps the corner fine.
Don't most planes that need the raved rudders have large props? Isn't that what it's mostly for? Or
Mostly for look.
Really effective for the big prop planes.
That's what they say, but I think it's mostly for looks. I won't have no raved rudder.
Just one more thing to trim on my profiles.
My thought is, why would I want to introduce yaw into the airplane?
Well, for the top of the hourglass, according to Wendy, matter of fact, I'm going to try a Raby rudder for the first time on this Strega ARF that I'm working on. So I'm planning to increase the size of the rudder. So I'm going to be throwing a 14-inch prop and then also the Raby rudder because it's such a big prop.
Let us know how that works for you.
Now, see, on my Strega, I made my own rudder, and it's bigger than the standard one. It looks more scaled to a P51. And instead of doing any real offset at all I did was, when I glued the rudder on, I put like a degree, of offset in the whole thing. And that plane, I mean, it pulls by far the hardest out of any plane that we have. And I've got good line tension everywhere and maneuvers flying that thing. So.
How much motor offset you have?
0.
Yeah. Better check again.
Yeah.
If you got line tension overhead and you don't have motor offset, something's wrong.
Well,
I checked mine now.
I've got all kinds of line tension.
Yeah, well, you got a motor offset then.
My Oriental's like that. I got no rudder, I got no motor offset, and that thing pulls good on overhead.
Hey, Jared, is your Strega an ARF?
It's an ARC, but it kind of looks like an ARF. I like the look of the ARF. The one I'm flying right now is actually my second Strega. My first one I had was an ARF, and I got it trimmed out pretty well, flying in dead calm air. Well, then the first time it was pretty windy, I ended up piling it up. I was doing the square 8, and on the outside square, as you turn straight down, coming towards the ground, I hit really bad turbulence, and it hinged real bad, and it yawed in at me. And at that point, you've got about a second before you hit the ground. So I had about a time to take one step back and try to yank full down, and it was in the ground, and it had come about 4 to 5 feet into the circle and hit straight down and just turned into toothpicks.
Yeah, that's too bad.
That don't seem fun.
So I got a second one, and I ordered, instead of the ARF, I ordered an ARC and stripped all the covering off. Or actually, they didn't have any ARC, so I had to order an ARF, and I didn't want to use that Chinese covering, so I stripped it all off and basically took it down to an ARC, and then changed out all the stuff that I wanted, made my own rudder, put a belly pan on it, and then recovered it in monocoat. But the wings have the same color scheme as the ARF, and then the fuse is more true to scale to the real Strega Reno Racer, but it's all monocoat.
Oh, I think I've seen yours. I think I've seen you fly on YouTube. Saw a
Yeah,
video, and
There's one or two
I thought it
videos.
looked pretty nice. It looks good.
Thank you.
What's up, Mike?
Not too much. Sorry I've been missing so much lately. Good to see you all.
Hey, Mike.
Good to see you too.
Yeah. The Continental looks
Yes,
good.
sir.
Good to see you all, you guys. I'm glad to see this thing growing.
Yeah, that's good.
It's rolling pretty good tonight. I see you're still in the cave.
Yep, I'm still in the cave.
The dungeon.
I'm the
That's
old
what
cave
my-
man.
Shug said he's not going to be able to make Huntersville this time. He'd planned on it all year, but his schedule is getting in his way.
Yeah, he just did 2 woods videos.
Is that blue stuff what superfill?
Yeah.
Sparky?
Yep. Superfill is not quite dry, but I'm kind of knocking it off like a cheese grater, like Bondo.
Where do you get that stuff from?
Pardon me?
Where do you get that from?
Off the forum, Wix Aircraft or Aircraft Spruce 1. $20. It's $20 for a quart. Get 2 pieces like this, 2-part.
Yeah, it's a 2-part mixture then?
Yeah.
I think Brodak sells that too, don't they?
Yeah, it's about $20 for a half a pint.
Is that easier to work with than like Bondo?
What's that?
Is it easier to work with and sand and shape than say like Bondo?
About the same.
About same. Is it lighter then or?
Yeah, it doesn't weigh anything. Bondo's heavy.
Right.
I've been using.
Yeah, I tried it for the
micro-
first time. I really liked it.
What's that, Charles?
I tried it for the first time. I really liked it. Worked out pretty nice. That superfill.
Yeah, I bought some. I haven't tried it yet, though.
I'd like to try it. I've got about a lifetime supply of micro balloons right now.
Yeah, you can use micro balloons and Z-Epoxy and micro balloons and what was it? Brown stuff. Aero
Use-
epoxy. Hobby
You
epoxy.
can even use it with tight bond, I think. Oxy.
I'm just trying to knock the high spots off till it dries a little more. It sands easier when it's dry.
How long does that take to dry?
24 hours.
Okay.
That's not bad.
Those pocket hinges there, Sparky, how hard are those things to make?
The what?
Those hinges that you use, how hard are those things to make?
Well, you go on Stunt Hanger and you go down to the vendor's corner and ask the guy who has the routing business or the guy who does the laser cutting and call him up and say, make me 100 of them.
That hurt, eh?
That's pretty hard, yeah. Eric Rule does them for me. You can get him to do them.
That's
Oh,
like
yeah.
those guys are all on the forum, eh?
Yeah, or you can get the guy who does the pin routing. I can't remember his name, but that's who I'm using now because instead of 3-ply, they're 5-ply.
The other night I was watching your painting video on your Juner when you're painting the orange. Do you happen to have the can of that stuff so I could write down the name of it for like what you're using? For maybe was it the dope that you were using?
That orange, the dope, that orange is C. Oh man, I can't even see. I'm gonna get my other glasses.
Well, not like the color code, but like the brand name of the.
It's Randolph.
What?
Randolph dope. That's all I use.
It's real aircraft dope.
Yeah.
And where do you get that from?
Off the farm, Wix Aircraft or Aircraft. I do everything through Wix because I can drive over and pick it up.
Okay.
But yeah, Wix Aircraft. Make sure you tell them that when you order that you're a member of Stunt Hanger and you're going to order some.
Okay. Yeah, because we're all out of our dope that we've used for years, and we got 2 airplanes that we're getting ready for paint, and needed to come up with some.
Be ready for sticker shock.
Oh yeah, I'm sure. That's expected. Is that the same brand that makes the color that you use too?
Everything I use is from Wix.
Okay.
This is a gallon of white, $88.
Yeah.
Red is $30 $30 or $35 a quart. Red is pretty expensive.
Red's expensive in any paint.
Now you were talking briefly about that at St. Louis, and I was kind of overhearing a little bit of basically when you mix those 2 parts together, as it dries, basically part of it's evaporating, or basically it's going to be lighter than what you have in your cup, right?
Okay, I'll give the rundown on painting one more time. All urethanes and enamels are mechanical bonds, meaning that they don't have solvents hot enough to melt between one coat and the next. So it takes 2, and you have to run 320 grit sanding scratches in the paint to get one layer to bond to the next. So that's one style of paint. Whatever you spray on stays on. So what it weighs in the cup is what it's going to weigh on the airplane, less the very mild thinner that's in it, and that'll evaporate off about 10%. And urethane is 0 evaporation because urethane is plastic. So any polyurethane paint you're using as a top coat, you have to be very careful of how much you're putting on, because whatever's in the cup, whatever the weight is in the cup, is what it's going to weigh on the airplane. Now let's go to a chemical bond paint, which is all lacquers or dopes. Now dope is not really paint. It's adhesive. It's glue. But it's still a toluene-based product, meaning that it uses toluene as the vehicle. The vehicle is the binder. The binder is clear, and that is what the pigment is that stays on your airplane. Now, for the thinners are lacquers, toluene type lacquer-based thinners, and it's highly evaporated. So if you have a quart of paint, and I'm just going to use a 10-ounce number. I don't know what it weighs. But if you have, let's say you have 10 ounces of paint, 10 fluid ounces, or 10 weighted ounces, that's what it weighs. And you mix 50%, so you put in another 10 ounces of thinner. When you spray it on, when you spray that 10 ounces, which is now 20 ounces, it will evaporate off to 8 ounces. That sounds crazy, but it's not, because the thinner will all evaporate into the atmosphere, plus 10% of the binder. So that's why dope is used on real aircraft, or was used on fabric airplanes. Now,
Okay.
if you're going to use dope and you want to go for longevity, you have to mix 1 drop of castor oil per ounce of dope. So if you got 10 ounces, you need 10 drops of castor oil. And what that is a plasticizer, meaning that first off, the paint will polish much better, but it makes the paint like a rubberizer in some of the enamels that they use for painting bumpers, meaning it's got some flex to it. Otherwise, dope is always shrinking because it's never done drying. It will always shrink. So that's why you can paint your airplane, and it doesn't matter how good you do the nose, and you put fiberglass on it or whatever, when it sits in the sun for 2 seasons, it's always going to shrink up, and you're going to see every bit of grain, no matter how good you think you did the grain. So that's what's going on with the dopes and the lacquers. But they're always shrinking. So in order to stop some of the silk span pop, you use 1 drop of castor oil per ounce of dope.
The same castor oil we run in the fuel?
Same castor oil you run in the fuel, same castor oil you drink. There's only one kind of castor oil. Yeah.
I wouldn't recommend drinking it, though. It causes some nasty side effects.
It make you shit pretty good.
No, thank you.
But
Too much information.
And see, I noticed, like in your, all we've ever painted with is DuPont Emeron.
oh God, that's urethane. That's plastic. Whatever
Right.
Oh, God, that's dangerous.
Yeah.
Danger don't
Evil
mean
stuff.
whatever you spray on stays on.
Right. But yeah, that's what we've always used, and I mean nitro, and won't touch it, won't hurt it. So after they're painted, we got, like my dad's stiletto he flies. Like I said, it's pushing 30 years old. It still looks just as good today as the day he painted it.
And how much does it weigh?
The entire plane. Give me a second. I'll look.
That's the clincher. How much does it weigh?
My first dope job was the twister that I recently finished and posted about 1 million pictures of on the forums. But on the nose of it, everybody told me that it wasn't fuel resistant enough, so I sprayed the nose of it with luster coat, which is what I've used on half A's for so long over Rust-Oleum. But I was using the Duplicolor lacquer on the twister. And
What's it weigh, Jared?
I don't have I thought I had it written down, but I think it's around 80 ounces. And it used to be in the low 70s, but he had a crash in Topeka years ago, and he had to do some repairs, and it came out heavier. But I think right now it's around 80.
Now, I don't know, did you watch this movie when I painted this airplane?
All I seen was the orange. You're spraying the orange top and bottom.
Okay, this far of the airplane is urethane, the nose. Just a few spots right here is urethane. Dope is not fuel proof. It's fuel resistant, but it's not fuel proof. There's only one paint that's fuel proof, and that's not Emerald. It's called Sunfire. And you can pour 100% nitro on it and it won't do anything. But it's pretty expensive, and it's really heavy. Not necessary. But what I do with all my airplanes is I paint them with dope. The whole airplane's dope, and you're not supposed to be able to stick urethane to dope, but I do it. And how I do that is I use dope thinner as the reducer, if that makes sense.
So then, is there any clear over any of that then?
Clear dope over the whole airplane. And after you're done clear dope in the whole airplane, I paint the nose to fuel proof it. Just the nose right here. I did it back to the trailing edge on this one. But that's why this airplane's 56 ounces instead of 86 ounces. You had it in it was light, wasn't it?
Oh yeah, very.
What
So
about something?
I've never painted a plane with dope, and then here lately, past several years, everything I've been doing is monocoat. So I've got a Magnum on the bench, and you know, if I shoot it with Immeron, or actually they don't make Immeron anymore. It's something a little different, but if I shoot it with that, it's going to come out heavy.
Yeah.
What
Any particular brand of the poly that you use for clear?
I use Select Clear by Sherman-Williams. It's the cheapest stuff they got. I lied. This is Acme. Acme finish. And this is a medium harder. And a quart of this stuff here. This is $26. At least it was 5 years ago. And this is $28. So you got about 50 bucks here. And this activator is not supposed to be good after you open it. It has nitrogen seal. And after you open it, you're supposed to use it all and get rid of it. But I've had this can at least 5 years and it's still good.
Well, that's the problem we have with Immeron is it does have a shelf life, and as soon as you crack the seal on the activator, you use it or lose it.
Right. Well, that was supposed to be with this stuff too, but not the case.
I know.
Well, and then, you know, like somebody was saying, you know, Immeron is pretty nasty stuff if you breathe it in, you know, so we've always, you know, you got to use a respirator and all that when you're shooting it. I noticed that you painted that right there in your shop. You had no mask on, and I mean, you weren't even worried about overspray or nothing like that.
Didn't you see how I had my gun set? There was no overspray.
Yeah, like 15 psi or something. You said.
Yeah, you know, I got a fan in the window, and I've been doing this 50 years, and
It ain't killed.
it hasn't killed me yet.
Yeah.
Keyword is yet.
It could possibly kill me in another 20. But, you know, what are you gonna do?
Finally got him, huh?
You know, painters aren't supposed to live past 35.
Well, don't laugh, but what if I were to use something like crystal clear men wax that I know it would probably be heavier, but would that be acceptable
For what?
for field proof in the nose? Something like men wax crystal clear with no UV protectant to keep it from turning yellow, I hope.
I wouldn't bank on it, you know. Okay. After all the years that I've been painting, where I used to use only Aerogloss dope and baby powder as filler, and it finally took me forever to find DC 540. Once I find the system that it worked for me, I'm not going to deviate trying Minwax. I've heard guys use Minwax to do things with, but I'm not going to mess with it because I know what I do works every time.
So if you've got a foam wing fully sheeted, how would you prep that for your dope finish?
I have a video on tissuing a sheeted wing. I tissue it with triple-aught silk span, 3 coats of dope, sand it good, put another coat of clear dope on it to get it all shiny and sealed, then 1 coat of color, and then shoot clear on it. That's going to be your lightest way to go.
Okay. And you got a video, you say, of that on YouTube?
Yeah, there's when I built that Thunderbolt, I think it's called Covering a Sheeted Wing is the name of the video. That was for that P-47.
Okay, I'll have to watch that.
That was your electric one, eh?
Put the silk span on, spray it with Windex or water, and get it shrunk, pulled down, and then put 50-50 thin dope on it to stick it down.
Well, yeah, the last time I've seen that done, when I was probably about 4 years old, watching my dad do that to his blue stiletto. So it's been a while.
It ain't nothing. It ain't real simple. 3 coats of dope on the wood. And everything I do is 50-50. So 3 coats of dope on the wood on your sheeted wing.
And that's that Randolph dope, right?
That's all I use. And I don't use nitrate. I only use butyrate.
Butyrate, okay.
They say use nitrate. Everybody says you got to use nitrate. I never have. I've always used butyrate only. And so I'm a creature of habit. So I put on 3 coats of 50-50 butyrate, put the tissue up there, spray it with a Windex bottle, get it kind of damp. You don't need to make it sopping wet. Pull all the wrinkles out, and then go around the perimeter with, with your dope, and let it dry, and then paint down. And nothing to it.
And then you said tissue and silk span. So is that the same thing?
Yeah, silk span is tissue. This is poly span.
Right. And so where do you get the silk span? Somebody on the forum again?
Rodak.
Okay.
They still sell it?
Yeah.
Hey, Jared, if you go back and watch the other night when he put the poly span on this wing,
right. I watched about a
yeah, that looks like something I'm definitely going to try.
Yeah, I think I'll do that too. The Magnum I'm working on is a fully sheeted foam wing. But yeah, next time, because you don't want to do that poly span on a sheeted wing, right?
No, because it's not necessary.
Right.
All you're trying to do, especially on a sheeted, you don't even have to put the tissue on a sheeted wing.
Right.
You could take Z-epoxy and paint Z-epoxy on, and then take a squeegee and squeegee it all off. You're just trying to seal the wood. So the only thing the tissue's for is to seal the grain. That's why you don't have to tissue the fuselage, but this is tissued over the top of this to seal the grain. That's the only reason why you're doing it.
It does not add strength. I thought it added strength to the fuselage.
Yeah, well, it adds strength, but not negligible. Some guys use carbon fiber that 2/10 Vail. I think this is half ounce here, but they use carbon.
Yeah, I've heard some guys really like that or really hate it.
Well, I've used it. My first Thunderbolt, that Thunderbolt up there was carbon, and they work. But this is all personal opinion, because some guys will say you're wrong or whatever. For myself, I did a test. You take 3 pieces of wood, 1 foot long, 3 inches wide, 16th inch thick. Put triple-aught silk span on it, put carbon fiber on one, put Japanese tissue on the other. And then paint each one with 5 coats of clear dope, let them dry, and then break them. And see which one breaks the hardest. Which one do you think?
The carbon fiber would be more brittle.
Japanese
Not
tissue.
tissue.
Japanese tissue has more tensile strength than anything else. Harder than hell to put on, but that's what has the most tensile strength.
That's a question I've got. Is it even possible to get Japanese tissue in big enough pieces to cover a wing with anymore?
How long do you want it? 100-foot roll? Go on eBay.
Yeah. Okay. That's about the only way I know you're going to, and I don't know what I'm looking at that.
We got a guy here in our club that can do I don't know how he does it, and I wish he'd explain it to me. He can put silk on an airplane. Now, this is not polyspan, regular silk, good Japanese silk. He can use, what do they call it, hobby epoxy, which is epoxy paint, the heaviest shit you can do. And he can do the lightest finish. He built an airplane a little bit bigger than this, 49 ounces with a Super Tiger 60.
Whoa.
Covered with
Where's his magic?
covered with silk and finished with hobby epoxy.
His magic is in its power to weight ratio.
Yeah.
It's amazing.
The whole airplane's made of the 32nd.
So what do you think comes out lighter, this poly span or silk span?
Silk span by far. This is 2 ounces heavier.
I'm gonna pick on you this time.
Are you laughing, Mike?
So why do you use poly span over silk span?
Because this is about 10 times stronger.
Okay.
No, because everyone's laughing.
What's so funny, guys?
Myself yawning. Mike is
Charles is
watching me yawn.
I keep picking
Charles is
on
getting a little punchy
I
over
think
there.
we're all fighting on that. I'm fighting it.
This is harder to poke a hole in than this here. This is real easy to poke a hole in.
I'm sorry, I was writing down. I missed that. What did you say there, Sparky?
The poly span is hard to poke a hole in, and this is easy to poke a hole in. So,
So your Juner is silk span?
yeah.
Okay.
And Jerry Phelps, I don't know if you ever seen any of his airplanes, like his Patriot, it's covered with Japanese tissue. It's real easy to poke a hole in.
Doesn't
Japanese,
Werwage use mostly silk or tissue also in the older stuff?
yeah, tissue. All I use is silk span. You get it from Brodak. You can get it a couple ways. You can get it in bulk, or you can buy it in his little packages.
I think Sig still has it colored as well. You don't even have to paint it. You want that see-through look like they do in the free flights.
Can you use poly span over the top of silk span? Like if let's say you punched a hole in your leading edge sheeting, and you use silk span, to kind of go over that, help cover that hole. Could you then poly span over the whole wing?
Suppose you could. I don't know why you want to, but you suppose you could. I can do a lot of things if I have, I might as well just try it, experiment, A lot of stuff they say won't work will work,
Because see, my dad, he's got a Strega wing and a stiletto fuselage. And he sanded so much rounding the leading edge off, he actually sanded through the sheeting. So he took silk span and went over that where he sanded through. I mean, it got to like paper thin on the balsa, so he used silk span over that to try to add a little strength. But we still got to do the whole wing. So if we did poly span over the whole wing, that would add some strength, right?
It would. You want some advice?
What's that?
Fix the wood.
Well, that's what I told him.
Yeah, because it doesn't matter how much you poly span, silk span, the wood. I mean, the wood is what's going to hold. There's a lot of force on that wing.
Yeah.
It's going to fold up. I've seen a lot of wings fold up from people sanding the sheeting. Never sand the sheeting once you got it on. I mean, you can sand the sheeting just, I don't know. I know that I have a molding video on where I sand the sheeting on the bench where it's flat, then I mold it to its shape. Never again do you touch the sheeting, because you don't want to get that. First off, I don't want to make the starved horse look, and second off, you don't want to take away so much of that wood that you're losing its integrity, because pound for pound, balsa wood is as strong as steel. And if it's not there, you have no strength.
Right.
Now you've got me worried about my twister. because I did sand the center sheeting on it after it was put together before I covered it.
But where a lot of guys,
Not
where a lot of wings fold and a lot of guys mess up is they sand the sheeting after the airplane's together trying to make it look good, and they sand the sheeting so thin it causes a stress riser. And you'll notice the wing never folds in the center. It'll fold out about a quarter of, that far from the fuselage, and wing will just pop right off. That's because there's somebody sanding the sheeting too thin.
I don't think I got as aggressive with it as you're talking about it, though. I just gave it a little light sanding.
If it's soft, if you can mush it down, no good.
No. I
Yeah,
did
well,
put thumb through it and crack it, and had to fix it before I covered it.
Yeah, I may have
Just
suggest to him to replace that section of sheeting.
Yeah, most definitely. I mean, kind
it
of
was right
important.
behind the lead. Oh, well, I'm not going to do it between now and Huntersville, so if I go out, I'll go out with a blaze of glory and an audience.
A lot of times it's faster just to build another airplane.
Yeah.
If you just light sand.
Oh, Matt Cullen folded a wing pulling out of a reverse wing over down in Huntersville last October, I believe.
Oh, jeez.
Derek Berry pulled one up at the Nats, that real pretty airplane he had for wings.
Yeah. That blue and green one.
Yeah.
Did you say Derek Barry?
Yeah, Derek Berry, and that's exactly what I'm talking about. Sanding the sheeting too thin.
Yeah, like Derek, he and his family show up at Huntersville for every contest. I told him I was going to invite him out to the fort, but he's so busy during the summer, I never did get around to it. So maybe this
Did you see the
this
Nats
winter
video
will.
I did with Dingleberry?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's little Dingle.
Yeah, that's right. I laughed when I saw that.
He has got so much energy, it's ridiculous.
Age will take care of that.
Dingleberry. That's got
On
a
your
ring to it.
all the lettering in that's all painted dope too.
Yep.
So how did you mask that? Did you create like a stencil, or did you with actually fine line tape? How did you do all that?
I got a vinyl cutter, and I just did it on the computer and spit out the stencil and stuck it on there. It's on the. Go back, and I even showed how to do gold leaf lettering. Look in my channel for gold leaf made easy. Have you ever seen my gold leaf
No,
airplane?
I only get to watch about 3 of your videos so far, so I got a lot of homework to do.
Hold on a second.
Which one's he going to grab? Continental or Monado?
Got your eyes open, Charles?
I do.
Any of you guys gonna do the Ringmaster fly this weekend?
I'd love to, but I don't have a ringmaster. It's
I got
still
a
in a
Rodak
kit.
ARF just for it.
My ringmaster's still in a kit.
Jared, that video. Oh, wait a minute. I got to change camera angles.
Monado.
Yeah.
Got the Monado?
Yeah.
It's sure a pretty airplane.
Okay. Save. Open this up here. Here we go. And that video that's on the net is how I did this. This is real gold leaf on here. And it's not very hard to do. You follow my instructions.
That looks sharp.
And that's how, I got a bunch of airplanes here, but That's how this lettering is done. I just ordered some more stencil material.
That is beautiful plane.
That airplane that you're picking up, Jared, from
Yeah.
Dan, as soon as that one's gone, he's going to replace it with my Atlas, and I gotta redo the numbers on it.
All right.
Might have to go shopping for one of those vinyl cutters. I've been using dope for years, but not to the extent that he's been doing.
Yeah. See, I've got a guy that I have him make all my graphics for me, but they're decals and vinyl stick-on decals. So yeah, I was wondering how you did that on your Junior.
Well, just tell them next time you're doing decals, instead of cutting you positive, cut you the negative.
Right. Right.
And instead of using vinyl for signs, use masking paper. It's low tack. It doesn't stick on forever.
I'll have to see if he's got that capability. I'm sure he does.
I'll give you that. Well, wait a minute. I think I might have the number.
Going through the Post-its tonight.
I don't have the number, but this is the material right here, and these are the stencils for another job I'm doing, and you pick them out. So instead of him picking out the numbers and giving you this part, instead of him giving you this part, have him give you that part. Jared?
Right. Yeah.
Right. Then you just put this on and spray it and then peel it off. And it's low tack. It doesn't have much stick to it at all.
Yeah. I'll have to see about doing that.
And if he can't do it, just tell me and I'll do it for you, and you can pay the postage and whatever vinyl I got involved, and I'll send it to you. It ain't no big deal.
All right.
See, the deal was, first off, when I went to college, I was, an art major. Well, back then, in graphic arts, we used pen and ink and vellum, and now everything's done on computer. Well, when I taught myself computers in the 90s, I didn't figure, well, this is going to be a pain in the ass. Well, there are some, good uses, and I put it to model airplane. So when I contracted to do these paint jobs for this guy, the sign shop wants $25 per airplane to cut these stencils. So I had 11 airplanes to do times 25
Nice.
is,
Yeah.
$225 of stencils. I go, well, that's bullshit. When for $75 more, I can buy my own cutter.
Yeah.
So I bought the cutter, and now, can cut all the stencils I want.
Exactly.
Cost $35 for a 30-foot roll of masking paper.
Where do you get the masking paper? Body shop or same place you got the machine?
U.S. Cutter. They're located out of Millington, Tennessee. Look them up on the web. You can get a cutter there. They got all different kind of cutters. I bought I didn't buy the home use desktop model. I bought the professional, professional model. But you get all the shit that you need. So they've been real good. MH780, I think is what I got for the cutter.
From looking on the web, they do them for both Windows and Mac machines. They make them for Mac too.
Right, right. The software is called Cuts-A-Lot Pro, and you get that for included with the deal, and it has, you know, you can make any arrows and stars and whatever.
So I could do up my warbirds pretty easy with one of those things.
Well, the nice thing about it is, like the chicken on here, on the nose of this, if you see something on the web, or there's a video that I have on the Max on the cutter, and I was doing the Max B. I just went on the web and I found a picture of a bee, and I took a JPEG and brought it into the vector program and turned it into a line vector. So I took something off the web and put it on an airplane in about 2 clicks. So
I heard something about a JPEG and an ion decker, and you lost me after that.
JPEG is a compression file that we use on the internet instead of a PNG or a GIF or a paint file. We use a JPEG. So you can take the JPEG, right? You can take the JPEG off the internet, bring it into Cuts-A-Lot Pro, and turn it into a vectored file, a DX file. And that's what the plotter works on. And you just, you know, copy and trace, and boom, it's right there. 2 clicks. Takes 10 seconds.
Okay. Yeah, I watched you make that bee. I watched that video where you went through that.
Was that the one on the cutter itself you did that on, I think?
I have a video called the MH Cutter, you know, a program. I can't Cuts-A-Lot or whatever. I think the video is called Cuts-A-Lot Pro, and yeah, I just showed how to make the bee, and it ain't nothing to do. And you got to remember, yeah, I know about computers, but you know, that was software that I first try. It yielded, you know, with perfect professional results. So with no instructions, so an idiot can do it.
Yeah, I could see that method saving you a lot of grief, and not to mention the quality of actually doping this stuff on.
Well,
rather than decals.
It came out professional, perfect, and that's the way I like things. I don't like things half-assed. You know, you've got so much money and time tied up in these darn things. Why would you want to do it, you know, halfway?
I do that on an RC plane now, but on a control line, I gotta wait till I get a little better at flying. I do about 2 or 3 in a year so far. Them outsides are killing me.
So like the checker pattern and even like the horizontal lines down the fuse on your Junar, that was all a stencil as well?
Correct.
Okay.
All plotted on the computer, cut on the stencil. You put the back. I show how to do it. Put the backing tape on, lay it down, peel it up, spray it down, and pick it off. It takes longer to tape that stuff up than it does to paint it.
Oh yeah.
I probably got
and watching your videos, it's incredible how much longer it takes to take it off than to paint it.
It takes probably 8 hours of tape work on that airplane and less than 10 minutes of spraying.
Right. Yeah, spraying is nothing to it. It's over instantly.
Sometimes just finding the edge to pick the damn tape up would take 5 minutes.
Right.
Yep. depending on how old the tape is.
The paint job is in the sanding, where people don't understand that is, well, how do you, I think you asked me that, Jared, how did you get it to shine like that? Well, it's right here, it's elbow grease. You gotta sand it and rub it.
No, I knew that. There must have been somebody else that asked you.
You still buffing that one?
I'll be buffing it till the gnats.
Haven't holed through on it lately.
Pardon me?
You haven't gone through the clear again lately?
Oh, I haven't gone, no.
Ooh.
I went through the clear on the stabilizer, but I got that fixed.
That's nice about dope. You can get away with that pretty easy.
What do you do to fix it if you go through it?
How do you fix it? Put more on?
Right? Just spray a little more.
I had to fix an ink line. I re-inked it and then sprayed more clear on it, and then sanded it and rubbed it out again.
Have you done any videos on ink lines?
Yep.
Okay, I'll have to search for those too.
I have 410 or 420 videos now. I'm not sure, and I think everything's about covered. I don't know. I'm probably going to do all the steps again in my new style where I'm doing the voiceovers because everybody seems to like that. But I've covered most steps. I think I'm going to do another lost foam video. But Bob Hunt, that's basically his design of building. He sells a video, but I'm gonna do one anyway.
That's quite the process he came up with that.
The lost foam.
Yeah.
That was good. Yeah.
I hear it makes great wings, but
Well, they're a perfect representation of what the foam wing is without the foam.
You're doing one of those videos, or you already got one out there?
I have a half-assed one out there, but I'm going to be doing one in my voiceover style, so we'll make a better quality video.
yeah, I really like the voiceovers. They work really well.
Everybody seems to like them better. More instructional.
That's because we know we're making you work harder.
Yeah. Well,
Hard enough.
I understand why. I mean, before it was just watching me build something. At least with the voiceover, I'm explaining everything. You can see exactly what I'm doing.
Actually, they do turn out good, yeah. I've been watching them. I just finished my night shift, so you can guess what I was doing.
I just did a line wrapping one today.
Oh, did you?
Yeah, it's the latest video up.
The lead outs or the control wires?
The lead outs.
Okay.
I need to watch that one. I take it you're not a big fan of Crimpton.
I haven't used Krypton in 40 years.
Yeah, I stopped by our field today on my lunch break, and there was a guy out there flying. I've never seen him before, but he had crimped on lead outs, and I got talking to him a little bit, and he decided he wanted me to fly his plane, and so I grabbed the lead outs to walk the lines out to check my neutral, and they got hung up immediately, just grabbing the lines. I was like, holy crap. I'm like, these are sticking. And they got looking at them, and yeah, they were crimped, and the ends were coming out and looping back around to where he crimped them. And man, it was like, I don't even know if I want to fly this now. Like, they get locked up in mid-flight, and they pile up the plane, and I'm gonna be responsible.
I still use Crimptons. I'm going to switch here soon, but I've never, ever had one let go.
Well, this guy's setup was pretty rough.
I switched the ones on my twister, but that's only the external lead outs. The internal is wrapped.
Okay, I'm gonna show you guys some crimped ons, and you won't think they're crimped on. Let me see where I can find them. There's a plier. Okay, I'll hold this up as tight as I can get on this. These are a set of lines that are crimp-ons. Do they look crimped on?
No.
Nope.
No.
Here's the pliers that do that particular operation.
Huh.
Carl Shoup, who died, made me this set of pliers, and I made this set of lines in '05, I think, at the Nats, because I didn't want to wrap them, but they're, they go around the eyelet and down through the copper tube and then back up, and then they're cut off just like I do the other ones, and then they're swedged with this special pair of pliers, and they're really a crimp-on that I'll use.
Yeah, that was nothing like what I saw at the field today.
I take it they were pretty ugly.
Yeah, horrible. I got about 10 feet down his lines, and I don't know if he takes his hands and wraps his lines up like this when he's done flying or what. It was bad.
Oh, no.
Sounds like you got a bull in the china shop there.
Now, what kind of plane did he have, Jared?
He actually had 5 planes out. He had a Super Chipmunk, and he had a Smoothie, and he had a Skylark, and he also had, I think, a Sterling Mustang, and I think there was something else. Let's see, a Smoothie, Chipmunk, Skylark. I know he had 5 airplanes. I can't remember the other one. I'd never seen the guy before, but I guess he's been around our club before, but I sure never seen him.
Well, that's surprising because he has some nice planes. You would think he would have better equipment, So I have a set of lines and a handle per plane, and I use that handle and line specifically for that plane every single time. And each plane of mine has its own set.
Now, see, I don't do that. I've got one hard point handle and then about 3 or 4 different sets of lines, and I use that on all my planes. And then I use those that line clip bender tool you get from Jim Lee.
I have that.
And I've made all of my clips, one increment at a time bigger. And I've got them all marked in little baggies, what the size is. And I have a note card for every plane. And basically before I fly that plane, I pull out my note card. And on my note card, I have written down what size clip I need for the up or the down line, and then what hole on the hard point handle to put it in, and which line it's put to. And I always wrap my up line in copper colored wrapping wire, and I always wrap the down line in red, so I can tell my 2 lines apart. And I'll also write down my fuel that I need for the flight, how many ounces of fuel. I'll write down the prop that I run, the RPM setting I run, and I look at that all right before I fly that plane. And then that way I can just run the one set of lines, and I can run 4 or 5 planes off of it, and I just, pick my clip out of the bag, and that way my neutral's set. So it takes a little time the first time you do it to get the plane neutral, but then after you write it down on the card, you're good to go for the next time.
Well, that works. I mean, you have good systems. That sounds good.
You could just leave the clip that on the airplane.
You can do that too, yeah.
That way you
That's
don't need
what I
the
do.
clip.
Those are my favorite kind of clips, even with a cable handle. They're easy to manipulate for my arthritic fingers.
Used to use those fishing line clips back in the day.
I still do on some planes.
Yeah.
The ones with the same size.
My airplane. So guys, we've been on 2 hours. I think that should be about enough.
Too. Well, I enjoyed it.
It's been our best hangout so far, so it is getting traction. We
Yep.
can still
Sorry, I got here late.
I'm glad I came on. I came on late, but I'm glad I came on. Some great info. Thank you very much.
All right, guys. This is Rusty
Night all.
signing off. We'll see y'all later.
All right, guys. Appreciate everybody
All right, see ya.
watching. We're on Monday, Wednesday, and Friday at 9 o'clock. So until we see you again, fair winds, tight lines. See ya.
All right.
See ya.
Yeah.
Good night.